When I first started getting back into writing, I ran into a bit of a wall with the group I had found myself in at the time. I was around 15 to 16 years old, and a lot like now, I had become friends with writers that I felt were talented or creative. And considering what I knew back then, I was a little bit wrong and a little bit right, depending on the person. But back then, when I would write something or express an opinion that was outside of the fold, they would call me a homophobe. Now, I'm sure it won't surprise anybody who's known me for 5 minutes that Zeit has been called a homophobe at one point in his life. And I just sort of laughed it off then and moved on and kept doing what I was doing and trying to figure out how I would go around this hobby of mine. And time passed and I grew and I matured as an author and as a person. And looking back on those days compared to where I am now, I won't say I'm annoyed by that thought process, but it does concern me. We live in a very saccharine world where hard decisions and challenges aren't readily accepted. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants their work to be liked. Everybody wants to be agreed, their opinions to be agreed with. And that has become very reflective in writing and in fiction and in creating characters. We've thrown aside the core complexities that make a real classic or very, very good work. And instead we've replaced it with some things that are very superficial, like how they look or their emotions, that without explaining the background of those emotions. And it's just so many little things that have built up over time and created the conditions where we are in now, where people are afraid of being called a name. And because of that name, they will not write or draw, and I am including artists in this one, draw or think or say anything that could get them called that name. Whether it be in my case, which was homophobe, or racist, or whatever the slur is on the opposite side, facing the other way. Whatever it is, in order to avoid calling that name, we have dropped everything that has made creative writing so creative and fun. And as you're listening to this, and as you're looking for ways to get into this hobby of writing and developing characters and plot and everything that comes with it, you are going to have to challenge yourself to ignore that. It has almost been ingrained into the national DNA, but you're going to have to ignore it and challenge yourself. I do it myself every day. I go through the day challenging everything that I believe to be true. I can go any way in a current event debate because I know both sides. I know my own personal truths only because I keep myself on my own toes and keep myself challenged. And if people think that this writing thing, is just something that you have a dream at 3 a.m. and you wake up and, oh, that's an idea, I must write that. That's not it. Creative writing comes from two ideas clashing in your mind, and that spark from that clash gives you something so complex and unique that when you put it on paper, nobody else can walk away from it. And even if once they put your work down, they still carry a little bit of that work with them. So that's my advice in this video to new writers. Always, always, always challenge yourself. Do not shirk away from something that seems to be a little off the cuff or going against the grain. And I won't lie to you, you will be called names. Somebody will try and shout you down. Somebody may even try and call you a racist or a homophobe. But if you're writing and you're staying true to yourself and you're staying true to the challenge, then just duck your head down and push through.